Hello and welcome back to What the Frick podcast. If you're listening today, you are in for a treat. I will be discussing my friend's wedding, which was in Lake Como, and it was one of the most exquisite, extravagant, not only weddings, but probably event I'll ever attend in my life. So I want to give you guys the full rundown of my experience, how the day went, and honestly, I've been comparing it and saying that it is the Eras Tour of weddings, comparing it to basically Taylor Swift's tour, the Eras Tour. Like, once you see that show, it's really hard to go to another concert after that because nothing really can compare. So, saying that this is the Eras Tour of weddings, like, I don't know legitimately how I'll be able to go to other weddings after this because nothing will ever compare. So, all right, let's get into it. So, picking up where we left off, was in Croatia. Took the first week and a half to explore Europe. I don't like going to Europe for a couple of days. The main reason that my friend and I were in Europe was for this wedding, but we decided to make it a whole extravaganza. Our friend's wedding, my birthday, just YOLO mentality. So, flew from Croatia to Milan because that is the closest airport to Lake Como. And our flight was actually very early in the morning, about 6 a.m. Quick little mini tangent story here, but we actually rented a car in Croatia and lo and behold ended up scratching it. I like to think it wasn't my fault, but who knows. So the guy actually made us pay for it on the spot. It was like 4 a.m. when we returned the car, and he was not gonna let us like leave without paying for it. It was kind of one of those situations where it's like, something's got to be done here. There was no one else around us. There was no one else around us. It's pitch black. It's 4 a.m. We got to go get on our flight. So I just paid the fee, which was $500 for a little mini scratch. I'm like, this doesn't really make sense how it's $500, but like, okay. But long story short, I ended up getting that taken off. Luckily, I used my Amex Platinum, shout out them, to pay for the whole car and also for that fee. They have a secondary car insurance, so they ended up taking care of that payment because I was like, this is ridiculous. So yeah, quick tangent there. But regardless, we flew into Milan, got our other rental car there, which didn't have any issues. And then we drove into Lake Como. It's actually a pretty quick drive if you fly into MXP, which is the more international airport. I'd say it was about like a 35-minute drive or so. Found our Airbnb, which was very cute. Once we checked in and got ourselves together, kind of got dressed, we just headed out. We were supposed to end up meeting our friend later that night and the rest of the bridal party for a little get-together. So we had some time to kill, so we just kind of walked down to where the wedding was being held. We wanted to just kind of see the area, get a good feel for it. And we learned pretty quickly that there's not a whole lot to do, especially in the town we were staying in, which was called Cornobio. I might be saying that wrong. It's spelled with a C, Cornobio. So yeah, but not a whole lot to see. So we honestly just kind of walked around, got food, had a lot of little drinkies, took pictures, and then we were like, okay, let's go get ready for this get together that we're having tonight. The sad part about this is that this get together didn't really end up working out in our favor. We were supposed to originally meet everyone at like 8 o'clock, but the plans kind of got screwed up and we were not able to end up meeting my friend and some of the other bridal party people that night. The original location just got switched and it wasn't gonna work. My friend and I were exhausted from getting up so early. We'd been traveling Europe. We had been drinking all day, so we couldn't really drive our car somewhere else. So we were just like, let's call it a night. We've got wedding festivities the next 2 days, so let's make the most of it. So we only really had half a day in Lake Como to ourselves, besides our arrival day, which we just used to kind of see the area we were in. But a cool fact about Lake Como is there are like different little towns and villages all over the place. And it's a place where you can take the ferry around. So it's very common to buy a ferry ticket and you can like travel from one town to another. And I was like, we should do this. Like, we didn't have to meet for we didn't have to meet up for the wedding welcome party until 4 p.m. So I was like, well, let's get up and let's explore. But we were staying so far south in Lake Como that to get to the more popular, more touristy towns was going to take us 2 hours each way on the ferry. And I was like, that's not going to work because by the time we get up, get ready, get there, we'd have like maybe 20 minutes before we had to come back and get ready for this welcome dinner, which is like the main event of the day. But luckily, we did have our rental car because we were told that it was hard to get Ubers and just transportation wise. So I was like, if we drive, it'll take us 30 minutes to get there. And then we could just park somewhere. And if we want to take the ferry, because it's just like a cool thing to do, we'll just take the ferry from like one town to another town. It's like a 10-minute ferry ride. So we ended up doing that. We picked a town that was more up north. It's actually a very cool little drive through Lake Como, like seeing it all. It's like very picturesque. We bought our ferry ticket. We headed over to Bellagio, which is one of the more touristy, famous towns of Lake Como. We got lunch there. We walked around. And we didn't have a ton of time, even with just our 30-minute drive. We made our way back, drove back, and honestly, by the time we got back, we were kind of in a rush. We were like, okay, we got to put makeup on. We got to do our hair. It was like a fancy event. So like we were pushing our time already, and we like didn't even spend that much time up there. I would have loved to go to one of the other towns, but it just didn't work out. So, but a very cool thing to do if you're ever like visiting Lake Como, I suggest giving yourself maybe 2 full days or so to like see everything. If you're trying to see all the towns, they're pretty quick and easy to see. Like the town we did go to, we pretty much saw the whole thing while we were there. And if you're someone that's trying to go like really in depth and detail and shop a lot, you're gonna need like a lot more time. So anyways, it's time for the wedding welcome reception. Ooh la la. And it was a white party. So everyone's wearing white, and we were told to meet at this dock area. It's funny enough, it was actually just the dock that we had been like hanging out at the past couple of days. But we like ended up walking to a hotel which had like a shuttle that would take you to the dock. We're in high heels, like we're in like full glam. So like we couldn't be driving because we didn't have anywhere to park, and it was like this whole thing. So anyway, we make our way to the dock, and there's just so many people there. Like everyone is getting ready to get on these boats. It was giving cult for sure because like everyone's just wearing white and looks very fancy. And the bride and groom like rented out these little Italian wooden boats for us to take us from this dock all the way to where the welcome party was being held. So each boat, I think, fit around 7 or 8 people. So our boat was pretty much just the bridal party, like the girls, and then one of her other friends. It was so fun. At first, we thought we were only going to have like 45 minutes or so, but it felt a lot longer than that. Like they drove us all around the lake. And I mean, I would love to say I'm the person that's really taking in the moments, but I am absolutely not that person. Like my phone was out, my camcorder was out, my Sony digital camera was out. Like the pictures were being taken, the TikToks were being filmed. It's one of those boats where you can like it's kind of like open on the roof. So I was like sitting up on this like Italian leather, like getting the pictures. It was like perfect like lighting as well. So yeah, I'd say the last 10 minutes were spent actually like enjoying the moment. But to those who say it's annoying to be on their phone, like I enjoy. All of us on that boat were just enjoying, like having fun and like taking pictures, and it was a grand old time. We had music going, like it was fun. And then this boat makes its way to the villa where she's holding the welcome party, and you just see all these boats getting ready to dock, and they are getting people out. And once it was our turn, we get off the boat, you walk in, and it essentially felt like a wedding reception. There were people holding drinks and champagne. There was a pizza stove area where they're making fresh pizza, a gelato station, all this pasta, all this food, burrata, prosciutto, cheeses, a whole section with like goodie bags, which were these little tote bags that said like Como on them. They ended up having Italian snacks and an outlet converter in them, which was kind of a cute little keepsake. Open bar, of course, some seating areas, and like a dance floor. So it was pretty intense. And like the bride and groom, as you walk in, they're like taking pictures. They're the only ones not wearing white. They wanted to stand out, of course, but they looked amazing. And it was just a really fun night. And like usually when they say open bar, it's like, okay, here's your options. But like they truly meant open bar. And it was like this for the wedding too. Like they had specialty drinks that were, of course, like bride and groom themed. Then you could also get like an espresso martini, any kind of spritz you wanted, any kind of like soda or drink. Like if you had a cocktail in mind, they made it for you. It was awesome. So yeah, like the welcome party was just so chic. Like everyone's in white. Throughout the entire party and the wedding, I want to also say the bride went all out in terms of content. She had a drone operator. She had like two videographers, a main photographer, and then a social media guy who had a camcorder and an iPhone and was like helping her with social content and TikTok. So she was very well versed and has like so much to show for these amazing events. But yeah, I was pretty awestruck by just the welcome party itself. We were dancing, eating, vibing, having fun. And then I think it lasted maybe like, well, we met at the docks at 4, and then I think the party went until like 10. So yeah, like a while. And then it was kind of just like go home, and then the next day we had to get up and be at the villa to get ready for the wedding. So the wedding, oh my gosh, where do I even start? Well, the bridal party had to get there pretty early. We got there around like 8:45 in the morning. Started right away on our glitz and our glam and our hair and our makeup. And it actually went like really fast. Like there weren't that many of us, but like they did a really good job being like efficient with that. And it was just really cool. Like we had this huge bridal suite, very Italian, these big double doors that would like open out and you could see the lake. We were a little concerned it might rain, which it did for I think maybe like 10 minutes very lightly, and then it was like super nice weather the rest of the time. But the day honestly went by really fast. The only bad thing I have to mention was that there was not like any food or water really given to us right away. I feel like it's pretty common in America where you just like there's like mimosas and like stuff like that, but there was nothing like that. I'm not sure if it's just the culture or something, but I remember having to ask her wedding coordinators if we could like get some water because like no one brought anything because obviously we don't live here. So eventually though we were given some drinks and refreshments, but we never really had like a meal throughout the day until the actual wedding dinner. So yeah, kind of I thought it was like the only thing that was kind of I guess a con was just like being hungry at times. But I mean it didn't really bother me that much. It was just kind of was like nice once it got to the wedding, just like eating so much. But as the day went on, we got all of our stuff down and we took pictures with like the bride's getting ready outfit. We took pictures with the bride giving us the first look, like all these pictures. She also gifted us Swarovski necklaces and earrings, which was super sweet. There was no actual rehearsal dinner, which like seems to be like less common these days. As we were going down to get ready for like the literal ceremony, like everyone was kind of confused and didn't know like where to go or what to do. And she had a ton of coordinators that were like helping, but like I don't know, it's just hard to understand them. They're just like, okay, you're with this person, like you're gonna walk and then you're gonna sit. And that part didn't really feel as helpful to me. Like maybe I was just lost, but it was just like they didn't give us a whole lot of direction, and it was kind of like, okay, time for the ceremony. So the ceremony starts, and then the whole bridal party got to sit, which was kind of nice, and just like enjoy the moment. When the bride and groom kissed, these giant like not fireworks, but like this explosion went off that was so cool, and like no one knew it was coming, but it was like so perfectly timed as well with their kiss. I was like, this is incredible. And then as the bride and groom walked back up the aisle, like this is the part we were all kind of confused because I guess we were supposed to follow them back up the aisle after they kissed, but like no one told the bridal party we were supposed to do that. So like the girls and guys are kind of just staring at each other from across the way, and we just kind of decided like I guess we're gonna walk up now. So again, it's like that would have been something nice for the coordinators to tell us because no one really knew what to do. So at this point, like I said, we're pretty hungry because we haven't eaten all day, but we still had some jobs to do. So it was time to take some pictures post ceremony, which didn't take that long, actually. I think we had like 20 minutes where we took pictures with the bride, and then the photographer gave us like a 20-minute break to go eat and chill before we came back for more pictures. But then once the pictures were done, like the rest of the night just kind of flowed on by. To put it into perspective, like the ceremony started at I think 5:30, and we had been there since like 8:30 in the morning. The wedding didn't end until 2 a.m. Yeah, 2 a.m. So I'm like, this day is going to be so long, so exhausting. And it was like the opposite. Like, I remember looking at my phone at like 12:45 in the morning being like, oh my God, this thing's almost over, and being like really sad. But just the whole like wedding once the ceremony ended was so like flowy. Like we were always entertained. So here's just to lay it out for you. Like ceremony is at 5:30. That didn't take very long. There was like an hour and a half between ceremony and dinner where the guests got to go have like cocktail hour. So open bar, these like amazing drinks, food. There was my favorite guy was the prosciutto man. He had like this big thing of prosciutto and he would like cut it off for you fresh. Loved that. And then there was this champagne wall with like all the guests and where you would sit and you would ring a little bell and then someone would hand you champagne. So that was cool. So an hour and a half in between the ceremony and dinner. And once it's dinner time, everyone went and sat down. And it was like a 4-course meal. I remember it started off with like some burrata or something like that. And then it went into this like stuffed ravioli. Or no, it was scallops. And then it was burrata stuffed ravioli. Then you could pick between fish or like meat. And then of course dessert. I like didn't even end up eating my main course because I was so full from eating like the ravioli and like eating the prosciutto and like didn't eat all day. So like once I was told I could go eat, I was like, I'm so hungry. Like just kind of ate all my food at the night portion of the day. But the dinner was also really unique because every like 15 minutes or so, these 3 Italian opera singers would pop out and sing like Italian hits like Bella Ciao and just like the cutest, most fun songs. Like the whole room would get hype and be like yelling and dancing, and like it was so fun. So it was like every 15 minutes or so, like they'd pop out and like sing more songs. So we were like constantly entertained, which was just so cool. They also did like her grand entrance where she had a wedding dress change. So she came down this set of like stairs, which is like very red carpet, very Vogue. There was literally a red carpet downstairs with like candles. Like it was insane. So they came down there, they did like the little speeches. They did their first dance and like the father daughter, mother son dance. Um, I think, and then that's when we had dinner, I think, after that, if I'm recalling the exact timeline right. Yeah, after she changed from her big dress to her like smaller dress. Or her reception dress, I should say, but they were both so cool. Anyway, so throughout dinner, we're eating these meals, we're hearing these Italian opera singers. At one point, we like went over to the red stairs and we're like taking pictures. It was so cool and so picturesque. And then we also had there was also this room with like photo booths. So there was like a 360 booth where you would like the camera would go around you in a circle. There's like a normal photo booth. Like there were just all these activities to do. And then eventually they had like the dessert cart come out. So like all these desserts. And again, like I wanted to eat everything, but like I literally couldn't. I don't know what was up, but I was like, I'm so full from like barely even eating. It was so weird. But the next extravagant part was when the cake cutting happened. We all went back outside to where they did the ceremony by the lake, and the bride and groom cut their cake. And then, like, literally, they turn around, and this fireworks show starts going off to the song Love Me Like You Do by Ellie Goulding. And it was like literally one of the most magical moments ever. Like, I know people think fireworks are overrated, but like, everyone just being outside watching it with like them in the forefront, like it was so cute and so romantic, and I was like literally mesmerized. Was I like a couple drinks deep? Absolutely. But I was mesmerized. And then they gave some speeches and I was like, okay, go back inside, have fun, like dance time. So everyone just kind of would migrate from like the photo booth room to the bar to the dessert table, back to the dance floor, back to the red stairs. Like this just went on for hours until it was like, okay, guys, like the wedding's like over. And I was like, oh my god, I'm so sad. Like it was so sad. But yeah, we got our stuff together around 2. We said goodbye to all the friends we made, which we did make a lot of friends. There were some pretty hot bartenders there, which were cool. And it was also fun because she got married the day before my birthday. So when it hit midnight, it was like technically my birthday in Italy. So as soon as it hit midnight, my friend and I went to the bar. We told the bartenders, and he was like trying to give us shots. And I'm like, I don't really do shots, just like not my thing. Um, but like that thing where they like take alcohol and like pour it down your throat. So I had him do that with the bottle of Aperol because I'm like, now that I can handle. I love me a good Aperol spritz. But they were so fun and so cute and just like loved us. So always fun to make new friends. But yeah, I mean, the wedding was so fun. Like I said, I don't think it can be replicated. First of all, like being in Lake Como was so cool and so pretty. The experience of getting to ride on these Italian boats to a party and then having like a pre-reception before the wedding. And then we had the actual ceremony, which has this explosion going off. We've got fireworks later. We've got an ice sculpture. We've got an open bar, photo booths, like just so cute, so extravagant, and just so freaking fun. Like I've been saying for days, like if I could go relive her wedding, like regardless of the fact we didn't really eat a lot, like I totally would. It was just so, so fun. So when I tell you, I have literally told every person I know about this wedding who didn't attend. I'm like, look where I was, look what I did, look how cute I was, look at the cute little bride. Like I am bragging about this wedding like it was my own, which is funny. But that is the story of the Eras Tour wedding. Overall, I feel like there were not a lot of cons, and usually like I feel like there's some sort of issue at a wedding, whether like it's an issue with the bride or like something bad happens, but like the only major thing was just like how we didn't get a lot of food like leading up to the actual wedding, but like we were pretty busy during the day anyway, so like it didn't matter that much until we like realized we were hungry, which by that time it was like, okay, well, ceremony time. So it all worked out, but pretty fun. So that is my Lake Como wedding story. If anyone wants to invite me to their wedding, I will of course come, but just know I'll be in the back of my head the whole time like, what is this? This isn't as good as the one I went to before. So anyways, I wanted to update you guys on that. It's super fun. There's pictures on my personal Instagram if anyone's curious to see more. But I will leave it at that and talk to you next time. Okay, bye.